Oh, back and running. Appreciate you making it. Looking forward to the program today. We have one of our own, chance to get to know one of our newest members. We'll do that later, but I want to start off. Jim Ariston, I'd like to ask you to give our invocation. Which followed by our pledge of allegiance. Jim?
Lord, thank you for this day. God, thank you for waking us up this morning, Lord, and just thank you for my fellow Rotarians today. God, I pray that these things we do, we always use tools like this. And God, I just pray that we would look to you, Father, as, oh God, we want to be what? We want to just thank you for the food we've had, fellowship. Pray that you go with it the rest of our day. Thank you.
Thank you. Pledge of allegiance. I'd like to ask Kelsey. Our guest.
Yeah. It's my pleasure to introduce our guest today. Nate, please stand when your name is called. All right, our guest is Nate Crawford with dad. Yes, John. So welcome, Nate.
Prospect list, so I'm glad to have you. Well, come back anytime. Somebody else is gonna invite you next week, so. I'm glad to have you with us. We do have some birthdays and anniversaries to share with you. Brent Gibbs has a big week. So his birthday was August 17th. And Ted Beeson's is August 24th. So a couple of birthdays to celebrate. We do have some anniversaries, some member anniversaries. Karen Thompson and Rod Thompson both have stayed with the club. Jake Jones, Mr. Rowe, 19 years with the club. So it's quite a number. So congratulations on that. We do have a couple of wedding anniversaries, as I mentioned, it's a big week for Brent. So Brent and Kara, I think we announced this 2 months early, so is this really okay, good. Well, we tried to give you some heads up to be ready. So 16 years on August 25th, and in one of God's greatest miracles, 29 years ago, Megan agreed to be my wife, so we celebrated on August 27th, so good week for us. Well, a couple of things to announce to you all. I want to let you know the shirt orders are going out on Friday. So Susan has about 40 orders. It's a chance that, we wear the shirts to the 4th of July parade, pretty much any Rotary function we have. So if you haven't gotten a new shirt in a while, this is a good opportunity to do that. Let Susan know if you're interested, and she'll put you on the list. And then just as a reminder, August is membership month. So I would invite you, we're going to try to promote the programs 3 or 4 weeks out. So think strategically. If there's a program that makes sense for one of your friends or one of your colleagues that would be interesting to them, please invite them. Because again, we have some great programs in recent weeks, have some great ones coming up. We are just over a month away from our 100-year anniversary. It's coming. I've been talking about it for a while. I know Ken talked about it for a while before that, but it's coming up. So September 23rd is our Rotary 5K. John, I know you had an announcement to make about the sponsors.
Sponsor. Anybody who has sponsored me, can you send me for 2 minutes after me? Just want to make sure that I've got everybody down. Second thing is there's some posters, small posters on the table. If I take these, post it somewhere where you think runners might pass by and register for the race stuff. We've got 2,500 so far. We need about 200 more. Please reach out to me. Thank you.
Well, related to that, you may not be a runner yourself, may not have family members who are runners, but there's potential for you to sponsor a local cross-country team, any one of the high schools, you could do that. You could sponsor some of our road rack kids. So, just because you're not a runner, there is that way to plug in. And thank you for the volunteering. We've had more than 20 of you all volunteer to be part of that day. So we appreciate that. I know Scott and John appreciate it. They could use a few more, but we're doing good so far with the numbers on here. A quick mention about the gala. Invitations should go out today. So keep your eye open for those in your mail. Go ahead and buy a ticket. So we're going to have a great program. We're going to have an International President Mark Maloney there. We're going to have a great meal. Telluride is catering, so it should be a fun night. Please go ahead and buy tickets. And many of you got a sponsorship solicitation in recent weeks. We're asking for a $1,500 donation to support the gala. We need that support. So if your company or you individual can do that, love to have your support. Please let Ken Miles or Connie know if you're able to do that. We may hit you up for something else at some point along the way, but we're not going to hit you up with this until 2048. So just spread out over 25 years. It's not that big of a donation. So anyway, appreciate your consideration for that. What about Happy Dollars? Who has something special?
Overzealous. I have $5 happy. And they all back to Sandy Lee, who
Yes.
many of you may know was married to in the hospital for almost a month, right at a month. And I'm just so happy personally to see her back and have her back with us. But I know it's the end of a lot of these prayers and we continue those prayers and
Always good to see you here, Sandy.
Got $50. Even though we're getting an uptick in COVID right now, it's nothing to worry about. We are not, we are no longer being population almost involved in the 35 to the camp. There are active tested. I think it's important for everybody to know that there are at least 2 different medicines being promoted at home by now. There's an active, there's a demo. We need to do the positive, it's going out. So,
Any other announcements for the good club? Not. That's Dr. Humphreys, introduce our program.
Y'all may be getting a little tired of me introducing John Mahaffey so many times, so I'm going to try to put a different spin on it. He's been headmaster for 5 years each at Chambers Academy in Lafayette, Alabama, and at Lakeside School in Eufaula. And now we've got him at the Grange Academy. He understands education, he understands character building, he understands the transformative power of education. And leaving each institution that he's been in bigger, better, and more well-funded than when he arrived. We have plunked him down in the midst of a capital campaign and building spurt and promptly demolished his office. So building him a new one, but he's still standing. He brings daily joy, excitement, and curiosity to the school. He understands that teachers are facing a bunch of desperados with their backs to the wall and no guns in their belt. But he backs them up, all of them. Mark Twain said, "I never let school interfere with my education." So he works that in as well with extracurricular activities. John knows that an education should include knowing what to do with it. At the Grange Academy, that's getting more education at a better college with more scholarship dollars. He knows that knowledge in youth is wisdom in age, and that by nature, all people are alike, but by education, they become different. And that a great teacher is always measured by the number of students who have surpassed them. To quote an English philosopher, author, and teacher, C.E.M. Joad, a schoolmaster is a man among boys and a boy among men. And that's the excitement that he brings to the job every day. John Mahaffey.
I do not need that. I am a school teacher by training. Thank you. Connor texted me last night and wanted some more details about me. I said the club has heard my name more than 2 times I visited. There's nothing else to say. There's nothing else I can add to it. But I do appreciate Connor's introduction. Hope I can live up to those things. And so a few things I did want to discuss today that kind of how I can use the Grange, my thoughts on education, the Grange Academy, and the future, and all of it kind of intertwining together. Growing up in Columbus, Georgia, LaGrange was when 185 and 85, so we were getting close to Atlanta. And then when I was at UGA, then I was close to getting home. There wasn't much stopping in LaGrange. We went to FDR, the White House, Warm Springs, Pine Mountain, all those things, but never spent much time here. And when I applied for this position, I came and spent time before and after. Before, because I was still excited. After, I wasn't sure if I would get the offer or get the position, but wanted to know what I was getting myself into. And for those of you that are lifelong residents or transit, there are so many ways to get into LaGrange from 185, where I was coming from 85. And every time I came in, I saw something unique and different to LaGrange and Troup County. By the time I saw the complete city, it was a place I knew I wanted to be if the job was offered, and it was. Undergrad at UGA, grad school, Columbus State, grad school at Auburn, started my educational career in Montgomery. First year as a teacher, I knew I did not want to be in the classroom my entire career. I wanted kind of to expand that. So I went back to grad school and spent my education in independent schools, Alabama, and now Georgia. 15 years in education, 10 as a head of school. I listed I'm a 1982 millennial because for those of you that keep up with the generations, it's very different than a 1995 millennial. We had dial-up in the home. We had Oregon Trail in middle school computer class. We had texting. We had to hit A, B, and C all in the first number. I'll get to that point later in the slide. We kind of have a different perspective when we talk about technology in schools, proper use, and all the things that we can do to educate our students on campus as we push them into higher education. My experience with Rotary, and it was great, I believe, at the last meeting, when Tripp had members stand up and talk about the 100-year anniversary and what it meant to them. My first experience was in Lafayette, not to be confused with Lafayette, Alabama's club. I was invited by the outgoing head of school. We showed up, I was 30 years old, probably the youngest by 20 or 25 years. And it's one of the only remaining clubs that still sings. So they start passing out, I guess it's a hymnal, Rotary hymnal, and this gentleman just picked the song and we all sang. I'm telling you, I did not want to go back. It was awkward. It was just awkward. I went back. Apparently it was just a slow day. The club diversified in the next meeting, which was great by all the accounts of diversity, but they do continue to sing. And it was just an amazing experience. Next group was not as exciting, kind of COVID hit Eufaula. It was a smaller club, even though a larger city, and had been a veteran age group of members that COVID kind of knocked out, wanted to participate, and members passed away. But the group that remained, I think at the end, there might have been 10 of us on the regular members, were the ones that kind of steered service above self, and anything and everything that they did, us 10 were involving our students, involving the city of Eufaula. And it means a lot to me as we created an Interact Club at the Lakeside School and are teaching the importance of community service and service above self to the next generation. Not to do it just to get in college, but to check box for UGA, not to do it because the head of school asked you to, but that it's something you must read. Don't wait to be asked and first volunteer. It's something as we're going to the capital campaign, putting out our administrative house, again, teaching the kids as they move into the next step of their life. So something that's meant a tremendous amount to me is something through Rotary that I'm trying to pass on to the next generation. Again, is the service above self. LaGrange Academy was chartered in February 6, 1970. Miss Elmina Caldwell Harmon donated her family home, the Caldwell home, in 8 acres. There are 110 founders, and in conjunction with the Callaway Foundation, they created the LaGrange Academy, and we are still here today. Just found out that Tripp's great uncle was Miss Harmon's brother, and so connections everywhere. Where are we going? We now have over 20 acres. Additional classrooms will be added in our new building, new office space. All of our campus athletic fields are on campus, and our new media center. We're taking the place or a chance with the growth of LaGrange, and we're going to be ready for it. And it's a great opportunity. Unfortunately, the historic home has to come down, but it's just not feasible with the growth on our landlocked campus and the logistics of a 90-year-old, 100-year-old home to be able to suit the needs of a 300-person school. So as we're cherishing the past, we're planning for the future at LaGrange Academy. In as Connor said, I didn't realize I had to clean out my office before I unpacked. I didn't realize I had to clean out a 90, 100-year-old home that has been the office of the Grange Academy for 53 years. There's stuff that you would not believe is in this attic and in this basement. One of the things I noticed in the attic as I've been cleaning it out was it had to go on the first Apple Macintosh green screen Oregon Trail computers in the attic, just sitting there, floppy disk right beside it. It doesn't probably work because it's in the attic that has no air conditioning. What's on those floppy disks are certainly outside of our realm of financial record. We're either going to put it in a museum in the new office or put it in the trash. In this old home, for those of you that have been in them or have one, does anybody remember the phone? It's not a booth, but the phone insert in the wall from these original homes that had one phone. Our kids, they have a phone there that doesn't work anymore, but a student asked, as they're helping us clean out, what's that for? And our athletic director that has probably 30 years old me said, well, it's for the phone that we used to use and have to call out. I said, Coach Parker, my generation punches the button, and this generation are using their iPhones, but not something that we need. So again, something that's just oblivious to our kids. Which brings me to my third point. Who's familiar with AI, artificial intelligence? Most people. Who's familiar with Chat GPT? Good. So artificial intelligence, for those that do or don't know, is just a simulation of human intelligence processes by machines, especially computer systems. So your Google Maps, your what you're watching on Instagram, your Facebook, your feeds, your history, all of that going into information that puts certain things in front of you that you want to see, whether it's UGA football or downtown Grange redevelopment or the Grange College, whatever the case may be, it's all there. The Chat GPT component is something that in education, just like calculators, just like Cliff Notes and Spark Notes and all the different generations in the room, of those things that could be used in education as a hindrance, it could be a way to cheat, or if taught correctly, the same with social media, it can be used as a tool. You know, the Grange Academy, since we have K-4 to 12th grade, we're trying to teach the importance of the digital citizenship and also how this can be used as a tool. As these kids will live in a very different world than everybody in this room, very different than how I grew up. And so particularly Chat GPT is a form of AI that's very good at having conversational back and forth. You can type stuff in, I'll show you the example in a minute. I thought about how to address this, well, what they want to hear, what they not want to hear. Had this decent, I thought, outline. I typed in write speech for the Grange, Georgia Rotary, and it popped out better than what I'm doing right now. It was easy. Is that cheating? Is that helpful? Is it plagiarism? I'm not publishing it as an article. It's a speech that you tell me as I'm cleaning out a house and managing a school of 230 kids. Where does it fall in education? And even, I'll show you that. If you don't know, you can write AI ChatGPT policy for high school. And it'll find out these things. Again, the approach that we've taken is that if instructed to use it as a tool, we'll teach you. If not, it takes the form of plagiarism. It takes the form of, if it's going to write your paper, that's not what we're asking. If it's to help do research, it can be used as a tool. The benefits that we have at the Grange Academy may be different than Dr. Baxter at the Grange College is we know how our kids write. We know what they use, what style they have. They come in with a graduate paper to get read. Our kids are great, but that might not have been them. So again, skirting the line of plagiarism versus using that information for these students to be able to succeed and have just much different careers than some of us were open to when we were in high school and college. So who has used Chat GPT? 1, 2, okay. Where's my Speaking of technology. Just in case you're wondering, my screen's not moving, so it's not. Help me with this. Yeah, it's not.
So it's flipping up.
Yeah, it's not. I need to get. I'm not the IT director of Bank Academy. There. Yeah.
Okay, so is that where you want to be?
Yes.
Okay.
The cursor was not up there before y'all.
It was not.
It was not, thank you. So I did that one. I know it's hard to read in the back. It's a phenomenal speech, better than the random. For the grade, the text information it had, talks about a hallway test, talks about the history of the grades. The second one I typed in, and the example was write speech for the Grange Northern Rotary about the Grange Academy. It takes all the information it has about the Grange Academy, ties in the four-way test, or small community, and it puts out a speech. So I'm a decent writer, but being able to use some of its points, plug it into a presentation, resource tool, or cheating for kids, or cheating for everything. Got a busy schedule. I was in the attic till 9 o'clock last night, cleaning out stuff. Here's a speech for them.
If you could send that to me.
And it can do the. So those of you that can't read, good afternoon, parliamentarians, distinguished guests, and members of our cherished LaGrange community. Today, as I stand before you, I'm reminded of the power of collective action, of community spirit, and the transformational potential that rests within groups like the Rotary Club of LaGrange. Much better than my speech. Our beautiful town of LaGrange is not just a dot on the map of Georgia, it's a vibrant testament to the values of Southern hospitality, dedication, and unity. The very essence of Rotary is service above self, and nowhere is this principle more alive than right here in LaGrange. I mean, it's amazing. And so, right speech.
R-I-G-H-T,
Right, W-R-I-T, I hope. It's for. You can, yes, and so that's some of the things that our kids, so before this, I walked into what we call our senior space that have dual enrollment, and a group of seniors, how many of you chat GPT, how many of you know what it is, all those type of things. So 5 seniors, 3 did not know what it was, 2 used it, 1 had gotten to that level of, again, turning it into a place where it writes on the level. The thing with technology is, for those of you that were through it or have kids or teach or those, there are software programs that check for AI. But there's also a way for kids, again, to manipulate, not kids, students and professionals, to manipulate that and have it reworded. The IT director did the presentation with his daughter, who's a junior, which had AI type something. If we had that check through an AI validation, it would say it was written by AI. But if you change a few words, it shows that it's not. Well, that's not a problem for me, but it is for professional lit, it is for writing. Yes, sir.
When will Grange Academy have the first AI headmaster?
Not my tenure. Give me a few years. I don't have a good answer. Not soon enough. I want to keep my job, so I don't want to get too far. I don't want to show too much. So now it's talking about the Grange Academy. So the difference between As a head school, just enough to be dangerous. It's not the same as Google going out and finding that information. This is information that has been collected. And so again, some of those problems, I talked to our College of Education at Auburn colleagues there, again, of writing a dissertation or writing or what becomes research, what becomes published, what becomes plagiarism on a much higher level. Not that it's not important back grade, but when you're talking about formal research that dictates policies or whatever the case may be, but of them being able to go out and find that collected data information over the UVA digital library and post. It's unbelievable what this is. And then the last one I wanted to show you. Because we have. So I asked it to write ChatGPT policy for high school, and it does almost what I've said of using it as a tool resource, and not instructing the tool resource for plagiarism if you start to write your paper over Great Gatsby or Great Giraffe or whatever the case may be. The IT director from Marist had his daughter was taking the place of coding and programming in your basic class. And she was able to, as a 16-year-old, rewrite code right in front of a bunch of heavy schools from around the state of the world. It's the most impressive. And again, just sharing how technology has changed in the world, and it's not perfect, because we're still learning, so our policy similar to this, did it right from the but it has so much potential out there in education as it is, or it's not all. Already you that have students, grad students ready to go to college, at some point they will, if they already not used some form of this, complete assignment, whether it's assigned, or whether it's structured.
Hey, Mr. Jackson.
Yes.
There's been any kind of regulations to explain to the government. I know we got things that like before that, there were like 3 or 4 companies that were going to sit and tell you. They were asking for regulation to be put on the company.
Some of them have regulations in terms of if I want to type, and I'm not going through the work computer, how to make a bomb or how to do any one of those horrific things, it will not allow. It notifies almost like our firewall system, but to their company. But as far as the big regulation, that's something that's still coming because we're not certain of what it can do. And so again, John Mahaffey, English papers and science research papers at LaGrange Academy, for someone using it for something else, but the information to write code, those of you that have had coding of a student being able to move a red ball from left to right or up and down can increase the size, the speed. It's just amazing. Good question. So anyway, those are the LaGrange Academy policy on AI. We'll go back there, what that looks like. And again, this is going back to calculators. Made this presentation 4th grade, if you had to use a calculator, but you had to show your work and it didn't make sense. There's another multiplication table. Now we all have calculators in your pockets on your phone. For you engineers or architects, so at one point that calculator is a tool because we have a computation. Again, how we're moving this and what that looks like today might not be the same tomorrow, but it's here. It's a question that we have to address because it's happening in our schools. Again, we're taking the vantage point to try to stay ahead of it. Some of our kids don't know anything about it. The ones that do typically have a sibling in college, but to be able to teach them that it is a tool to help and create and change their lives professionally. Any questions for me about Lafayette Rotary, AI, or Grand Academy? Yes, ma'am. Right.
How are you going to be one of those standards?
Very good. Your project area, they interview a couple of months and we get professionals in the community. They come in, trying to make more professionals in the community that are familiar with us. But when they sit down at the panel, how they do them, so they're added uncomfortable the alternate, actually. That's something you got for the food here for the stage. Very.
Since you got a minute, can you tell us about what the capital improvement, in the end?
Yes, definitely. So if you've driven by Burnett on our campus, the original Caldwell House will be coming down starting Monday. I don't have an office actually yet. Hopefully I'll get one by the end of this meeting maybe. And in its place will be a building that almost mirrors our media center. I'll have classrooms, new office space. We'll put an arcade in front of that building for any other drop off pickup on campus. With school safety, and when that school or our school was built, and different add-ons were there, safety wasn't, again, what it has to be today. But that new building will form an internal courtyard in between our commons, our gym, and this new building, so kids can have lunch, they can study, they can have a dual enrollment, and it'll only be accessible through the building, through gated areas on the side. Has the potential, we're at 235 now, we've been up to 300. It gives us capacity more of a solid 350 to be able to fill those spots. Yes, ma'am.
You're going to have a four-year program eventually.
We do have a 3
Oh,
We do, yes.
you said,
K4, yes, I'm sorry. We have K4 through 12. Yeah.
Are y'all doing anything, additional as far as security in the first school and plan with the kind of sensors in the bathroom?
No students are there to help.
Wish I could have
We don't, those students, yeah, I just want to do it.